So with that in mind, today I'm going to talk about the subject of laughter, but I want to flip it. Instead of trying to get you to think about what are the things that make an audience laugh, I want you to try to think about what are the things that make an audience not laugh. So why is it that some people can make people laugh so easily, saying whatever they like, and yet with others it seems to be a little bit more laboured? And I've come up with a couple of ideas, observations from tour guiding and also from trying to do a bit of stand-up comedy that I found that has really helped me think about laughter in a kind of different way. So these are the things that people do that stops them from being funny. And once you can stop doing these things, which are incredibly difficult not to do, it'll be quite easy to actually make people laugh. Because people laugh at a lot of things. And the things that people don't laugh at are less. So the first thing that people tend to do a lot that stops their audience from laughing is being too self-absorbed or being too focused on their own speech. Have you ever heard someone do a speech and just judge them by what you see on stage? Have you ever seen somebody deliver a speech and gone, oh, I don't really like that person, he doesn't seem like a very nice person, I don't really want to go to coffee with him, just from what you've seen on stage. And it's the same whenever we're nervous or whenever we're trying to remember the next line of our speech and we can't remember it, we get self-absorbed. And one thing I've learned that's very important is that as much as you need to get your audience to pay you attention, you also need to pay attention to your audience. You need to pamper them, in other words. And I experience this every day. For example, today I was giving a tour and I was quite tired today. And I was there saying, oh, ladies and gentlemen, here we're going across London Bridge, crossing over into the City of London. But deep down inside, I was going, oh, somebody kill me. I don't want to be here. I don't want to smile. But I need to suppress that. And I need to do these things to really come across as a friendly guy. We tend to think of our onstage personality as something that's static, something that you can't change. But this isn't true. Our personality is malleable, and our personality is something we can use to our own advantage to increase our likability on stage. So that's the first thing that you have to think about. Don't think about being too absorbed. Think about pampering your audience, looking them in the eyes, smiling to them, and trying to be a little bit warm and nice. And then it'll be relatively easy to make people laugh. Second thing a lot of people do when doing speeches is they're too predictable. Have you ever heard somebody deliver a speech and just gone, oh my god, this is going on for ages? 5 to 7 minute Toastmaster speech, and yet we still feel like it's going on for ages, right? And that's because your audience have disengaged. Because to a speech, and you know the person on stage thinks that what he's saying is funny, but you think, well, that thing that you just said right now wasn't actually that funny. And this is a problem that all people who try to make people laugh struggle with. You're trying to say something funny, you think it's funny, people don't find it funny. So instead of focusing on trying to say funny things, I'll say just focus on trying to convey your raw emotions as honestly and as genuinely as possible. It's not the subject that's boring, it's the people who are doing the subject that make it boring. If you can talk about accounting or finance or banking,
It's different.
I don't know what that's about, it's being unpredictable. In really expressing your frustration or your anger or your joy of the subject, your audience will find the funny in the speech themselves. You don't have to spell out what is funny for them. You don't have to expect the laughter. They will find their own funny in your speech by yourself. So fast workshop, but those are 3 things that I think are big hurdles when people try to be funny and struggle. And if you remember it, you're all going to be